This is my recipe for making brown bread. Here are the ingredients, very simple. Some wholemeal bread flour or brown bread flour, whichever you prefer. Some strong white flour as well. Here's some yeast. We need some dark brown sugar, which is also a bit of a trick as well. Oil, water, salt. We'll need about 315 mils of water. I always weigh my water because I just find it a little bit more accurate and it takes less time. Now we're going to move on to the next step. What we're going to do is weigh out our ingredients, put them all in a bowl. Again, the simplest way to do this, a little bit of salt, make sure that goes in the bottom. I'll normally put about 7 grams of salt in there. Let's put that in. Oil, I just use olive oil. 2 tablespoons. Next, we want to put in our white flour, just 100 grams of white flour. Gives it a bit of a lift. 500 grams, adding the bread flour, the brown, the wholemeal flour. So let's just put that in. So we've got 500 grams of flour now. We're going to add some 7 or 8 grams of that flavour. Try some of this lovely brown soft sugar. So it's just a teaspoon there. You'll get a nice colour to the bread as well. Next step is to add the water. And this is another big cheat now. What we're going to do is that we're going to put the bread into a Kenwood food processor. Okay, and here we are, the Kenwood food processor. The dough hook's in, all the ingredients are in. All I've got to do now is just add the water. Start it off slow. Add the water. Doesn't have to be hard work. It's about 315 mils of water. Let's just stop this and open the Kenwood. We'll just take a bit of dough off, and then we're just going to stretch it between our fingers. See if we can get some light. We'll just hold it up to the window pane, and if it starts to look a little bit translucent, like that, or quite stretchy, you can see at the top. Just put it there. There you go. We got that. It's like a very thin layer of dough there. You see, that's what we're looking for. So we've just unhooked the dough hooked from the Kenwood. I'm just going to scrape off the dough. Use your fingers if you want to. I've got this special tool. See how that easy comes out. What we're going to do now is let the dough rise. Now, I'm just going to knead the dough for just a minute or two. Then go back to the bowl, a little bit of oil there, put this in, it's nice and soft, it's got a nice feel to it. Give that a swirl around, turn the oven on, put it on the lowest setting, and I'm going to show you an oven hack when you're proving the bread. Just get 200 mils of water and just pour it gently onto the bottom of the oven, and then just leave it there. Get your bread, it's been oiled, in the bowl, put that in the oven. Now I find this a better and more environmentally friendly way to prove bread, as I'm not having to use a piece of cling film to place over the bread whilst it proves. It goes into the oven on the lowest setting, but if you've got a dough proving setting, put it on there. If not, just lowest setting on the oven. Look, just see where the bread is at the moment. We're going to come back in an hour and we'll see how much it's risen in the meantime. You can see it's come up quite a lot. Now you need to scoop it out. Knock it back. of oil. Just knock all the air bubbles out. Then roll the dough quite tight. Put your bread shape there. Here's the tin prepared earlier. Just like to push it down. Okay, there's the seam. It's going in the bread tin. Right, and then we'll put that back in the oven to rise again. Again, like I said, proving again, the oven's on very, very low. There's moisture in the oven at the bottom, and that's evaporating slowly. So we put the dough back in the oven, and that will rise. We'll put that in for another 30 minutes or so. Right, the bread has risen quite nicely. Let's take it out of the oven. Here's the bread now. As you can see, there's quite a nice rise on that. It's going to go back into the oven to be baked. 1 or 2 finishing touches. Dusting of white flour. And we'll just slice across that. That'll stop the bread from splitting. Not quite as clean as I would have liked it. And go back in the oven. For 220 now in the oven. You can see the shimmering at the bottom, which is the water that I left in earlier when the bread was rising. And creates some nice humidity, and will give the bread, the brown bread, a nice crust as well. Right, so that needs to stay in there for the next 30-35 minutes, and we'll come back to it in a while. Here it is. Nice brown bread. Take it out. Your tap test. Sounds nice and hollow. We'll let that cool on the rack, and we'll come back to it in about an hour. Bread has cooled. Brown bread. That quick method. There you are. Fantastic.